Welcome back to another episode or another segment of this episode with Demetrius here in the studio. Glad to have him here on the amazing 102.5 The Lift. We are talking about just things that we hope empower and inspire. And today's focus again is balance. And so if you were here with us before commercial break, I was highlighting how Demetrius has this common thread in some of the things that he says, and it's very much centered around your unique self. Just kind of knowing who you are and all of that. And I, as a former people pleasing person myself, I know what it's like to feel stressed out because you run in here and there, are being multifaceted or multi-skilled. And so saying yes to a whole lot of things. In finding balance, Demetrius, how did you really create space to be uniquely committed to what you feel that you're created to do or called to do?
You know, I had to realize I have to take time every day for myself, and that comes with meditation. I bought a meditation bench because I'm not really flexible, so I can't really sit Indian style too long before my knees start hurting.
Yes.
Meditation bench has changed my life.
Wow.
So at least 5 minutes in the morning before I get on social media and before I start reading articles on Yahoo News and start worrying about the ills of the world.
Yes.
I make sure that I get on that meditation bench and spend some time with myself.
Yeah.
Again, reiterating what my mission and my vision is. And so that's really critical. And if I can get up to 20 minutes, great. But some days, you know, we got to get moving.
Yeah. So this 5 minutes a day is your way of getting in touch with you and staying connected to you and what you are about, right?
It's a check-in, you know. I check in, and the things that might be stressing me or I'm thinking about are going to be stressful for the day. You know, just reminding myself that I'm capable. I'm here on a mission to serve a purpose, and whatever it is, it will be taken care of and handled the way that it needs to be. It's
gonna work out, right?
Yeah, it's got to work out.
So that's then is a first nugget is figuring out you, right? And whatever works for you and whatever that looks like to each person, their own beliefs, their own practices, whether it's meditation. For some people, they literally go grounding. And I have a friend who does that every evening, putting feet in the dirt, in the earth, like whatever that is for him. Prayer for a host of us, journals. But basically this idea that you stay very much in contact with you. Why is that important? Because somebody could hear that and be like, well, you know who you are, but why is that important in the world and the hustle and bustle in which we live? Why do you think it's changed your life?
Other voices and wants and desires can inundate a person's mind.
Yeah.
And so it's really critical that you have that quiet time to listen to yourself, your thoughts, and check all of those thoughts properly the way they need to be checked.
Yes.
Before you become overwhelmed.
Yes.
So, you know, I think it's critical, you know, in addition to meditation, I think it's also important to self-educate continuously.
What does that look like? What do you mean when you say self-educate?
Well, you know, a lot of people look at going to school, getting degrees as marks of, you know, of their success in terms of education. And those are just starting points, in my opinion.
Yes.
Your education needs to be continuous. And so for somebody who's as busy as I am, I do audiobooks.
Okay.
You know, when I'm driving around. So the option for a lot of people is you got Sexy Red.
Yes.
Or you got audiobooks.
Yes.
What do you think is going to be more beneficial to your evolution as a human being? So when I'm in the car, you know, sometimes I do throw on a Sexy Red, but other times, the majority of the time, I'm in a new book.
Yes.
Every week is a new book. And, you know, whether it's a 5-hour audio book or a 20-hour audio book, I'm continuously learning because every day I want to make sure that I'm evolving as a human being.
Yeah. So the first place was that whole meditation, checking in with yourself. And then this sounds like educating, empowering, expanding yourself. What if somebody is trying to figure out, but who am I as myself? Who is that? Like, what were some nuggets on even your journey of realizing what I'm attempting to go into is kind of different from what normally is happening in the culture? Like, how did you figure out who Demetrius really is and what you wanted to focus on?
I challenged my own beliefs. And so you know, we can have confirmation bias a lot of the time, and we only consume media and information that just reconfirms
what we already think. Yes.
And so, I wanted to find out what was on the other side, to really discover what my true values are. I had to say, okay, well, the people who believe the opposite of what I believe, what makes them think that?
Yes, because they're just as adamant about what they believe as you are about what you believe, right?
Precisely.
Yes.
Yeah, people are super adamant about their beliefs, and the hardest thing that you can do in the world is to change a human being's mind.
Beliefs, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I constantly challenge my own beliefs and thought processes to figure out where I stand.
So there's a bit of challenge and there's a bit of curiosity. There's a bit of wanting to know more about yourself. And so for our listening audience, small business owners and leaders, I even think when you're trying to figure out what business you're going to be in, there's a measure of us who are not successful because we're actually mimicking or doing something that's not really our assignment. And so balance is really being able to step back, I believe, as Demetrius said, to hear your own voice, to really figure out what are you passionate about, what do you love, who are you? And from there, oftentimes from our true purpose and passion, we find our even our financial success, right? Like your goal was to help people come into a plant-based lifestyle from a health perspective.
Right.
It's generating finances, right? Yeah. So for each of you today who are listening and trying to figure out your own space about balance and why is it even important, much of our success is rooted in this. So I'm going to just take a quick pivot because then you also talked about sight. So I can assume that you probably could cook a whole lot of different things. But what makes you stay locked in on the thing? Like somebody can say, well, Demetrius, come, let's do bakeries. Let's open a fried fish market. Whatever. What is it about sight that's so critical?
Well, I could cook a whole bunch of different food, and I do at home. But pizza is the gateway food, in my opinion, to a plant-based lifestyle because it's the most consumed food in America. 5 billion pizzas are sold worldwide every year.
Wow.
People love pizza in every country on earth.
We do.
And so, there's always a time to sit down with your friends or your family and eat a pizza. And so that's why I specifically locked in on that food, for my business.
Yes, it was strategic.
Very, very, very strategic.
Yes. So for then anybody who's trying to figure that piece out, part of your balance and why that's important is, so now you don't waste a lot of time and energy running all over the place, trying to create and do a whole lot of other good stuff. What do you do when people are making suggestions though, and they're saying, but why not this and why not that? For somebody who's listening and that is their struggle, is being able to stay locked in on their particular vision. What do you do when I'm sure people suggest?
Oh yeah, people make suggestions all the time. And, I listen with a filter.
Okay,
so
it's the filter.
I'll give you an example. When I first opened the shop, one of the things that my customers kept giving me feedback on was the fact that they wanted ranch to dip their pizza crust in.
And they do.
I'd never heard it, dipping my pizza crust in ranch. This is, I grew up in New York City.
Okay.
Which, we figure we're the pizza capital of the world. And
y'all don't have time to be holding ranch and walking to the subways.
Yeah.
Don't work like that.
Not something I'd ever seen any time in my life. And I've been in Houston 17 years now. And I guess I never realized people were doing this.
All the time.
And so initially I was kind of annoyed for the first few months. And then finally I said, all right, people want ranch to go with their pizza. Let me figure out how we can get that on the menu.
Yes.
And initially I was purchasing from another vendor.
Yes.
And he decided to move to Hawaii. Then I was stuck again with no ranch.
And the people were asking for the ranch. I know they were in the South.
The ranch, they go crazy about the ranch.
Yes.
So we had to develop our own ranch and put that on the menu. And even today, I'm surprised people will pay $2.50 for 2 ounces of ranch and buy 10 ranches at a time.
Yes, because we need it, right? So in that case, you listened because it furthered the vision that you were up to, right?
Definitely.
Yes, and so people who are trying to sort through what do you take and what do you not take as advisement, because you're so clear about what you're trying to create, then you take things that are in alignment with what you're already attempting to do.
Precisely. The vision and the mission was to get more plant-based pizza to more people, and if Ranch will inspire that, then hey, it's a go.
It's all about the vision and the mission, y'all. So if you'll stay right here on the amazing 102.5 FM, we will be right back shortly so that Demetrius again can share a little bit more about his business, his location, and all things that, so that those of you who are small business owners and as well as nonprofit leaders, you can stay inspired about how to lock in and be balanced as it relates to your own vision, to your own mission. See you in a moment.